New at 11.
A sudden storm forces evacuations at Speed Street.
Right now, I'm tracking a cold front moving into the area. I'll let you know how many more storms we can expect.
Before the rain, security changes at Speed Street.
I've discovered Food Lion has added dozens of new faces to help keep you safe.
A new drinking danger.
This is just horrible.
Now doctors warn about the serious health consequences of smoking alcohol.
This WBTV high-definition program is sponsored by Honda Dealers of the Carolinas. WBTV News at 11 starts right now.
A powerful line of thunderstorms just moved through the Charlotte area, and we're tracking the potential for more storms to develop tonight. Good evening. Welcome. I'm Paul Cameron. Molly Grantham has this evening off. New video at 11 o'clock as the storms move through uptown Charlotte. Fans at Food Lion Speed Street given the order to evacuate ahead of the heavy rain and lightning. Eric Thomas over in the First Alert Weather Center. And Eric, these storms move through very quickly. What do we expect the rest of the night?
They were powerful too, Paul. Now, the timing wasn't great. As Paul mentioned, Speed Street had to be evacuated, but at least it was at the tail end of Speed Street, and they also got the pole night activities in okay out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. There it is, though. There's still a lot of lightning. The storm's now, Paul, to answer your question, moving through Mint Hill. So there you see 485 on the eastern side of Mecklenburg County. So the Mint Hill area getting pounded right now. Then you lift off to the northeast across Cabarrus County. So Flo's Store, this area, the Highway 601 corridor, Georgeville, Mount Pleasant, tons of lightning in your area as well. As we pull back, you'll see that line pretty solid. It is going to rip right into Stanley County. So areas along Highway 24, Locust, Stanley, Albemarle, you are next for this storm moving through. Now, the cold front, also an issue. We'll talk more about that. And a big pattern change coming up for the rest of your NASCAR weekend. It's all part of your 7-day First Alert forecast.
Eric, we've got some breaking news right now from Washington State. An interstate bridge has just collapsed. Look at this. This happened before 7 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock our time. This is Interstate 5, the bridge just outside of Mount Vernon, Washington. It's about an hour north of Seattle. Now, according to news reports in the area, cars and people have gone into the water. This is a still picture. There's no word on any injuries right now, but from the looks, there could be many. We will stay on this and try to bring you live pictures as soon as we can get them. Now on to security at Food Lion Speed Street. Before the rain, it was the big concern. Security was the concern for organizers tonight. We've learned dozens of new guards are now patrolling uptown. Well, since the bombings in Boston last month, no one's taking any chances. Analysts believe Food Lion Speed Street is just the type of soft target terrorists would like to strike. All new at 11, Dedrick Russell learned about the new security push to keep fans safe.
Police are confident in their plan. The city is anticipating about 400,000 fans coming down here. And with those type of attendance numbers, we're talking about more security and new faces had to be added. Speed Street is considered an extraordinary event. That means police can search bags and do what they think is best to keep people out of harm's way.
Walking up and down, just making sure nothing crazy, nobody gets hurt.
Helping out with security this year is Levon Newborn. He works for Professional Security Solutions. He is supervising about 70 security officers. They're all in white T-shirts, keeping a close eye on things. He says their job is even more important after recent attacks.
Definitely got to beef up the security after what happened in a situation like Boston. Got to hire a couple of fearless guys like so that knows that's what's going on out here.
He's not taking any chances. I walked with him today.
Don't know what bag that is.
From a distance, he thought he saw an unattended bag, but it wasn't.
So I disregard as I go when I see this not a threat.
While Newborn is on the job, so are CMPD officers. There are more of them patrolling this event this year. Some in uniforms, others in plain clothes. Police Chief Rodney Monroe says officers have been busy.
We've been doing some periodic sweeps through the area, focusing on certain critical areas. So we think we have a pretty solid plan.
Monroe says that plan includes all officers are on the job this week. No time off, no vacation.
We have enough police officers out here to check on pretty much any type of complaint or concern.
So on day one of Speed Street, police and these security agents say no problems to report, and they hope it stays that way.
We pretty much got the full package safety team out here.
The chief says also helping to protect fans this week are the new toys the DNC purchased. We're talking about new cameras, a license plate recognition system, and a device that can detect gunfire. At Speed Street, Dedrick Russell, WBTV, on your side.
Thank you, David. Just in at 11 o'clock, officers captured an escaped inmate in Lincoln County. They say Ronald Billings walked away from work release about 2:45 this afternoon. Billings was serving a 7-year sentence for breaking and entering, forgery, and other property crimes. New video right now shows a car that flipped on John Belk Freeway. This is near the South Tryon Street exit. The car rolled about 10 o'clock tonight. Medic tells us there are injuries. We are still working to learn how severe, how extensive those injuries are. New at 11 o'clock, a Salisbury man in custody after police say he told them he stabbed his girlfriend, then drove to the magistrate's office to turn himself in. Before going in, he used the woman's blood to draw a heart with initials in it on the side of the building. The man, whose name has not been released, has not been charged yet. Police told them he told them they would find the body in the apartment in Calhoun Street. They did, and the apartment has now got crime tape around it. Police called Jerry Lee Brooks the ski mask rapist. They say he attacked 3 women here in Charlotte in 1979, but he wasn't charged with the crimes until last year. In court today, Brooks turned down a plea deal from prosecutors and pleaded not guilty. His alleged victims were there. We spoke to one of them, who was frustrated Brooks didn't own up to the crime.
I think that's why he pled not guilty, hoping that he can find a hole in the case. Well, he's not going to find a hole in the case, because there are too many victims. We're going to do whatever we can to convict this guy.
Amy Outen is 55 years old now. She says she was 20 when she was raped. Brooks was arrested last year in South Carolina after he had gotten out of prison for a robbery conviction. Police here used DNA evidence to make the arrest. He is scheduled to be in court again next month. Now some more information on that breaking news out of Washington State. Again, the Interstate 5 bridge at the Skagit River in the town of Mount Vernon collapsed about an hour ago. This is an hour north of Seattle. Major north-south freeway running from Washington State into Canada. Now, this is a still photograph from the newspaper. We have just learned this bridge was on the Washington State DOT's list of bridges that needed to be replaced. This is the Cairo helicopter coming out of Seattle en route to watch this bridge and see what's happening. Again, some cars, we're told, some people were thrown into the river. We're still trying to find out if there are any injuries. We certainly will stay on this. We'll bring you more as soon as it warrants. The Boy Scouts of America has voted to lift its ban on openly gay scouts. In a dramatic shift from previous policy, the group's National Council voted today on the controversial issue that has divided its members and supporters, including several religious groups and churches. Inez Ferre has the latest from New York.
The Boy Scouts of America's National Council voted to allow openly gay boys as members. The vote came after decades of debate over whether the century-old youth group could exclude gay scouts.
No matter how you feel about this issue, kids are better off in scouting. Our vision is to serve every kid. We want every kid to have a place where they belong, to learn and grow and feel protected.
More than 2.5 million boys are involved in scouting. Those who wanted to keep the ban say being homosexual violates the Scouts' oath, in which boys vow to keep themselves morally straight.
When they make a decision that puts the interest of a group of activists over the safety and the security of my sons, that's a program that I can no longer trust.
About 70% of Boy Scout troops are chartered by religious organizations, many of which are opposed to homosexuality. The ban on gay scouts became a national issue in 1990 when Eagle Scout James Dale was removed as assistant scoutmaster because he was gay. In 2000, the case went to the U.S. Supreme Court, which decided 5-4 that the scouts had the right to discriminate who could join. 16-year-old Pascal Tessier is an openly gay scout whose Maryland troop did not remove him.
Simply because you've been teaching something for a long amount of time doesn't mean it's right.
The change will go into effect on January 1st. A ban on openly gay adult leaders will remain in effect. Inez Ferre for CBS News, New York.
The White House issued a statement saying the president welcomed the Boy Scouts' decision to open its membership to all, regardless of sexual orientation. There are 2 new potential buyers for Harris Teeter. According to the Wall Street Journal, both Bain Capital and Cerberus Capital are interested. In February, Harris Teeter announced it is considering a sale. Analysts have also cited a Dutch company and Publix as possible buyers. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools and CPCC are making their pitch to the county for more money. At this budget workshop today, CMS asked for an increase of $28.5 million. CPCC asked for a $6 million increase from last year. Interim County Manager Bobby Shields is only recommending about half of CPCC's request. No decision was made tonight. Caught on camera, a sheriff's deputy in Texas gunned down during a traffic stop. Now, we're only going to show you this because the deputy survived. Deputy James Boyd shot twice in the chest, once in the head, and he credits a bulletproof vest for saving his life. He just watched the dash cam recording of the shooting for the first time.
I knew exactly what happened. It's just something else seeing it on tape.
The man who shot Boyd would later be identified as Even Spencer Ebel. Police say he was a gang member and a white supremacist on the run after killing a Colorado prison official. Officers later killed him in a shootout. President Obama faced an unhappy protester during a major policy speech today.
So today, once again,
102 people on hunger strike. These desperate people.
I'm about to address it, ma'am, but you got to let me speak.
The woman interrupted the president for a second and third time before security removed her from the room. It happened during a speech about the future of the war on terror, where the president defended his administration's use of drone aircraft, which have killed American citizens. Next at 11, it's called smoking alcohol. Drinkers do it to avoid calories and to get drunk quickly. Now doctors warn this is a new danger parents must know about. Plus, students and teachers reunited for the first time since Monday's tornado destroyed their elementary school. And we're still watching this breaking news, a live picture from the Cairo helicopter in Washington state as, well, there's a still picture of the I-5 bridge that has collapsed into the Skagit River. We're back with more after this.